Storyworthy Part 3: Charity Thief and the Real Story of Loneliness. Imagine a boy stuck on a highway. There is no money in his pocket, no gas in the car, not even a coin to make a phone call, and home is 100 miles away. He thinks that today he is the loneliest person in the world. But after some time, he will be standing at the door of an old man whose loneliness will make all his own troubles feel small. The fear begins here, because many times we consider our own problem the biggest, until someone else's silence stands before us like the truth. And the curiosity is born here. How did $20, asked for with a lie, teach Matthew Dix such a big lesson about life? In the second part, we understood that inside every powerful story, there is a 5-second life-changing moment. That small moment where the main character changes. That moment where the story no longer remains just an event, but becomes meaning. We saw the example of Alan Grant from Jurassic Park, where a man who was irritated by children slowly becomes a person who protects children. The real impact of the story was not in the dinosaurs, but in the change that came inside Alan. We also understood that the beginning of a story should be the opposite of its end. If in the end, the character understands the value of something, then in the beginning, he should not understand that value. If in the end he comes out of fear, then in the beginning fear should be controlling him. Through this contrast, the audience feels the change. And only when the change is clearly visible does the story enter the heart. Now, in the third part, we come to a personal story by Matthew Dix, which he tells as an example in his teaching classes. The name of this story is Charity Thief. This story is special because many important elements of storytelling appear together in it. It has a clear beginning, a clear problem, suspense, surprise, and most importantly, it has that 5-second moment where Matthew's thinking changes. This incident is said to be from 1991, when Matthew was around 20 years old. At that time, the world was not like it is today. There were no smartphones. There was no Google Maps. Things like UPI, instant payments, easy ATM access, and emergency apps were not common. If you got stuck on a highway, you were truly stuck. To ask for help, you had to wait for some person to stop. This background makes the story feel even more real. It was a Sunday morning. Matthew was driving on a highway in New Hampshire. He was returning from a strange, personal, and slightly awkward experience in his life, and there was a different kind of excitement inside him. He was feeling good about himself. But life often stops you right at your most confident moment. Suddenly, the front tire of his car burst. This was not a simple puncture. The tire had almost given up. He had to stop the car on the road. Now Matthew was standing on the side of the highway. No spare tire, no phone, no immediate help. The person who a short while ago felt that the day was good was suddenly standing helpless on a deserted road. This is the first problem of the story. The first question that comes into the audience's mind is, how will he reach home now? Matthew started looking for help. Hours passed. Finally, after around 7 hours, a man named Winston stopped. He sold Matthew an extra tire from his car. Matthew gave him all his money, took the tire, fixed the car, and then got back on the road. At that time, he must have felt that the biggest problem had been solved. But in many stories, the real problem begins after the first problem. His apartment was still around 100 miles away. Then he realized that the car was about to run out of gas. This was the moment where the problem became deeper. He had got the tire, but now there was no gas, and there was no money to buy gas. All the money had already been given to Winston. No credit card, no ATM card, no easy digital help. Now Matthew was stuck again. He tried to take the car to a gas station. He was angry from inside and sad too. Think about it. A 20-year-old boy, far away from home, no gas in the car, empty pocket, and no one nearby whom he could easily call. At that time, he worked as a manager at McDonald's and earned an hourly wage. For him, even $8 had become the difference between reaching home and being stuck. Matthew thought he would ask the cashier at the gas station for help. His plan was simple. He was ready to leave his wallet, driving license, or any important thing present in the car as collateral. He would tell the cashier that he needed just enough gas to reach home. After reaching home, he would send the money back. This plan seemed reasonable to him because his need was not very big, only enough to get home. But when he went to the cashier refused. He was a teenage employee and he had his own helplessness. He said that if he gave free gas, he could lose his job. For Matthew, this answer was very painful, but the cashier's point was not completely wrong either. Many times in a story, there is no villain, only two helpless situations standing face to face. Matthew returned to the car. Now he was even more broken. From the outside, this was a gas problem, but from inside, it was a problem of helplessness. When a person has no option, his mind starts searching for strange paths. He thought perhaps he should wait for another cashier. Then his eyes fell on his McDonald's manager uniform kept in the car. Here, a breadcrumb enters the story. The audience thinks, what is the connection between the uniform and gas? This curiosity pulls the story forward. Matthew had a blue shirt, blue tie, blue pants, and a name badge. He also had his McDonald's briefcase with a big M on it. Suddenly, an idea came to his mind. This idea was wrong, but at that time it seemed like a way out. He wore the uniform and walked toward a small house. The door of that house was blue. Now imagine a 20-year-old boy in a McDonald's uniform, holding a briefcase, fear inside him, and trying to show confidence outside. He knocks on the door. This is the place where the story moves in a new direction. The audience thinks, what will happen now? Will he be caught? Will someone call the police? Or will he get the money? An old man opened the door. Matthew found the man very aged, as if he had seen many blows of life. Matthew took a deep breath and began to lie. He said that his name was Matthew and he was collecting donations for the Ronald McDonald charity. He also said that his mother had passed away from cancer and his sister was also fighting cancer. He was doing whatever he could to help. Here, the story becomes uncomfortable because Matthew was not really collecting charity. He had come to get money for gas. That means, in that moment, he was a kind of charity thief. But the power of the story is that Matthew does not show himself as a hero. He does not hide his mistake. He tells that in a desperate situation, he chose the wrong path. This honesty makes the story feel real. The old man remained silent for some time. He told Matthew to wait there. Matthew became scared. He felt that the old man had gone to call the police. Perhaps he had understood that this boy was committing fraud. Perhaps now he would be arrested. This suspense is necessary because the audience feels Matthew's fear. But then the story suddenly turns in an emotional direction. The old man did not return with the police, but with $20. Matthew said that this amount was too much. But while giving the money, the old man told him that his wife too had passed away from cancer. This is the point where the story begins to turn from gas toward loneliness. In the beginning, it seemed that the story was about Matthew reaching home. Now slowly it becomes clear that the real story is about something much deeper. The old man began telling Matthew the story of his wife. He told how she fought cancer, how she slowly grew weaker, and how in the end she lost. He also told that his 2 children had come to their mother's funeral, but after that, they never came back. After hearing this, the weight of the story changes. Now in front of us is not just an old man, but a person who has been living alone in a house for years. That man had a lot to say, but perhaps no one to listen. Matthew had come to take money, but that man perhaps needed someone to talk to. Sometimes loneliness does not shout. It simply starts speaking as soon as the door opens. That old man held Matthew there and told him that part of his life which perhaps he had not shared with anyone for a long time. He also said that he had one regret. He could not tell his wife that it was okay to let go. He loved her so much that he did not want to let her go. But later, perhaps he felt that in his love, he had kept holding her back. He wished he could have told her that if she wanted to rest, if she wanted to let go, then it was okay. This line makes the story very emotional. Matthew kept listening to him for almost 20 minutes. Then the old man hugged him and placed $20 in his hand. Matthew left from there. He filled gas in the car and started driving toward home. From the outside, the problem had been solved. He had got gas. He was going home. But the real 5-second moment of the story had not yet arrived. While driving, Matthew thought about how lucky he was. He was going home. His friends would be there. Maybe they would sit together, watch TV, drink beer, and this whole incident would remain just a strange story. But that old man, he would return to the same house with the blue door, to the same empty room, to the same silence. And not just that night, but many nights to come too, he would remain alone. This is where Matthew realized that a little while ago on the highway, he thought he was alone, but that was not real loneliness. It was a temporary trouble. He was 100 miles away from home, but he had a home. He had friends. He had a place to go back to. But the loneliness of that old man was different. He had a house, but perhaps no one waiting inside that house. This is the 5-second moment of this story. Matthew understands that he does not know as much about loneliness as he thought he did. He had thought that he was alone, but that old man showed him another face of loneliness. Real loneliness is not being stuck on the road. Real loneliness is when you have an entire life to tell, but no one to listen. Now, see why this story works. It begins with a simple problem. Flat tire, no money, no gas. The audience feels this is an escape story. They think about how Matthew will reach home, but slowly, the story changes its color. It no longer remains just the story of getting gas. It becomes the story of understanding loneliness. This is the powerful move of storytelling. Matthew takes the audience on one path in the beginning, but in the end shows that the path was the same. The meaning was different. This technique makes the story memorable. If it had been said in the beginning itself that this is a story about loneliness, perhaps the impact would have been less. But when the audience first becomes invested in the survival problem and then the emotional truth comes forward, the impact becomes deeper. The contrast between the beginning and the ending is also clear in this story. In the beginning, Matthew is feeling alone, helpless, and unlucky. In the ending, the same Matthew understands that he is not alone, but very fortunate. In the beginning, his need is $8 worth of gas. In the ending, his learning is that sometimes a human being's real need is not just money, but someone to listen. There are few unnecessary details in this story, but the details that are there do their job. The year 1991, the absence of smartphones, the tire bursting, the 7-hour wait, giving all the money to Winston, the gas station cashier, the McDonald's uniform, the blue door, the old man's wife, his children, and finally Matthew's realization while driving. All these details take us to that same 5-second moment. If Matthew had started telling too much about what the weather was like that day, what he ate for breakfast, what Winston looked like, which company's gas station it was, or how he met that girl, then the story would have wandered. In good storytelling, every detail has a job. Detail is not just decoration, it is direction. This story gives us one more important lesson. In storytelling, the storyteller does not always need to show himself as good. Matthew lies in this story. He takes money in the name of charity. This is morally wrong, but he does not hide it. That is why the audience does not reject him, but walks with him. Because the audience knows that humans are weak, desperate, and many times make wrong decisions. Honesty is the biggest weapon in a personal story. If you always show yourself as right, the story will become a speech. But if you accept your mistake, the story will become human. People may be inspired by perfect people, but they connect with imperfect people. Now apply this formula to your own life. You too must have had some day when you thought the worst was happening to you. Then after hearing someone else's story, you may have felt that your problem was not that big. Perhaps you spoke to a stranger once and 2 sentences from him changed your thinking. Perhaps you learned from a mistake what it means to be human. These are your stories. While searching for a story, do not only look at how big the event was, look at how much it changed you. Did your perspective change that day? Did you understand an emotion for the first time? Did you see your own mistake? Did you feel someone else's pain? If yes, then the story is right there. Charity Thief tells us that sometimes the real point of the story is not visible in the beginning. In the beginning, the audience sees gas, money, and escape. In the end, it sees loneliness, regret, and human connection. This is what turns an ordinary incident into a deep story. And this is where storytelling meets life. We all remain tangled in our own problems. We feel that our trouble is the biggest. But when we truly listen to someone else's story, our heart becomes a little bigger. We understand that behind every door, there is some incomplete story. And inside every person, there is some loneliness hidden that is not visible from the outside. But the game of storytelling is not complete yet. Now, the question is, how did Matthew keep the audience hooked from beginning to end in this story? How did he create suspense? When did he hide which information? And when did he reveal it? How did he first involve the audience in the worry about gas and then take them to loneliness? In the next part, we will understand exactly how breadcrumbs are placed in a story so that the audience keeps thinking at every moment. What will happen next? If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.